Welcome to Pain in the Grass, the official Lawn Pride podcast, where we dig deep into the real problems hiding in your yard. From weeds to grubs to mystery brown spots, we've got the dirt. Let's grow better together.
Welcome to the deep dive. I know that feeling right now. The air's getting crisp, days are shorter, and maybe you're thinking, finally I can relax a bit. The heavy summer lawn work is basically over. But here's the thing. While you're kicking back, there's actually a whole bunch of, silent killers lurking just under the surface of your lawn.
Yeah, just waiting.
Exactly, waiting to ambush you next spring. It's this crucial fall treatment that honestly gets overlooked way too often, but it really sets the stage for success.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Our mission really is to cut through all that noise and show you why getting proactive in the fall is the absolute secret weapon for a great-looking, healthy lawn next spring.
Okay.
We've gone through quite a stack of articles, guides, all about these fall pre-emergent strategies.
Yeah.
And we want to give you the shortcut, the what, why, and how of stopping next spring's weed invasion before it even gets started.
Right, so we're talking about giving your lawn a real competitive edge here. But before we jump into the solution, let's maybe unmask these culprits first.
Good idea.
Because we're not talking about the dandelions you fought in May or that summer crabgrass, right? These are winter annual weeds. They play by different rules.
Totally different schedule. They actually sprout in the fall, grow really quietly. You might not even notice them all through winter.
Sneaky.
Very sneaky. And then, boom, spring arrives, and they just explode. It becomes a real problem fast.
Okay, so what are we looking for? What are some of these stealthy weeds?
Well, what's kind of fascinating is how innocent some of them look at first. Take annual bluegrass poa annua.
Okay, heard of that one.
Yeah, it just looks like maybe some light green clumps. You might even think it's just regular grass. But come spring, it seeds like crazy, ruins your lawn's texture, and it's notoriously hard to get rid of once it's established.
Right.
Then you've got henbit. You'll recognize it by its little purple flowers. Looks almost pretty, actually.
Almost.
Almost, yeah, if it weren't basically strangling your good turf. It loves that cool weather.
And I bet chickweed is on that list too. Seems to pop up early.
Oh, absolutely. Chickweed spreads low, super fast, forms these dense mats. And those mats just choke out the desirable grass, stopping it from getting what it needs.
And there are others too, right? Like dead nettle, bittercress.
Yep. Dead nettle, hairy bittercress, corn speedwell. They all follow that same fall germination, spring explosion pattern.
So why are they such a big deal if some of them die off when it gets hot anyway?
That's the key question.
Yeah.
Because even if they die later, they're actively competing for everything: nutrients, water, sunlight, space, during those really critical times in the fall and early spring.
When your good grass needs those resources.
Exactly. When your lawn should be putting down strong roots, thickening up. It's like, imagine you're trying to build muscle at the gym.
Right.
But every single time you go to grab the weights, someone else is already using all of them.
Okay, I get that. Resource hogging.
That's precisely what these winter annuals are doing. They're hogging the resources and really setting your lawn back before the main growing season even starts.
Wow, okay. That's a great way to put it. So it's not just about looks, it's actively hurting the lawn's future health.
Definitely.
Now, you mentioned a proactive treatment. We hear a lot about weed killers, the stuff you spray after you see the problem. But you talked about an invisible shield you put down before they show up. How's that different? What's the science there?
It's a really critical difference. A pre-emergent isn't about killing weeds, you see. It works by creating this thin chemical barrier right in the top layer of the soil.
A barrier, okay.
So when those little weed seeds decide to germinate and they start pushing their first tiny root or shoot through that barrier, the pre-emergent basically stops that process. It interferes with cell division, usually. It stops them dead before they even break the surface. That's why it's called pre-emergent, before emergence.
Okay. So it's pure prevention, a shield, like you said.
Exactly. Proactive strike.
Which means, I guess, timing has got to be absolutely crucial for this to work.
Oh, timing is everything. Get it wrong, and that shield just isn't effective.
So when is the right time? What are we looking for?
The optimal window, the real sweet spot for fall pre-emergence, is when your soil temperatures are consistently dropping below 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Below 70. Got it.
And importantly, they're heading down towards that 50 to 55 degree range. That's when most of these winter annuals start to germinate.
And when is that, generally, like calendar-wise?
Well, for a lot of places, September is kind of the prime time, but it really depends on your specific area, your microclimate. Could be late August in cooler spots, could stretch into October further south, or if it stays warm.
Okay, so how can someone figure out the right timing for their lawn? 70-degree soil temp isn't something most people just know offhand.
Right, it's not like air temp. But there are some good practical ways. Your local university extension office is a fantastic resource. They often publish local soil temps.
Good tip.
Or, honestly, just do a quick online search. Something like soil temperature map plus your state. That usually brings up some good resources. And if you want to be really precise, you can just buy an inexpensive soil thermometer, stick it in the ground about 2 inches deep, check it for a few days around the same time. That gives you a direct reading.
2 inches deep. Okay.
Right.
Not just the surface. And what happens if you miss that window? What if you're too early or, more likely, too late?
Good question. If you apply too early, say when soil temps are still way up in the 70s or 80s,
Yeah.
the product can actually start to break down before all the weed seeds have had a chance to germinate. So its effectiveness might just wear off too soon, leaving you vulnerable later.
Okay, so it doesn't last forever.
Exactly. And if you apply too late, well, if those weeds have already started to sprout, even if they're tiny and you can't see them easily, the pre-emergent won't kill them.
Right, because it doesn't kill existing ones.
Correct. So you end up fighting an uphill battle later with post-emergence, which is usually less effective overall and, frankly, more expensive.
Makes sense.
But if you nail that timing, a good application can give you a protective window, that barrier we talked about, for maybe 8 to 12 weeks, sometimes even longer, depending on the product. And that covers the main germination period for these winter weeds.
8 to 12 weeks, that's a pretty good shield. Okay, so this isn't just, a quick fix. Let's connect it to the bigger picture. Why is this one false step such a huge, almost game-changing advantage for your lawn overall?
If you step back and look at the whole season, the benefits are really significant. First off, think about spring. You're going to have dramatically less weed pressure.
Less work in spring. I like the sound of that.
Exactly. Imagine starting the growing season with maybe 70, even 80% fewer weeds popping up. That means less time pulling weeds, less need for spraying those post-emergent chemicals later on.
Which feels healthier for the lawn anyway.
It is healthier. You're creating a better environment for your actual grass to thrive without all that competition right from the get-go.
Yeah.
You're not just winning one fight, you're kind of changing the whole dynamic for the season. You build a stronger, denser turf that actually needs less help down the road.
And I imagine there's a cost angle here, too. Sounds like prevention is cheaper than cure.
Oh, absolutely. Prevention is almost always more cost-effective in lawn care. Think about it. One fall pre-emergent application might run you, $30 to $50 for a decent-sized lawn, say 10,000 square feet.
Okay, ballpark.
Now, compare that to multiple rounds of spring post-emergent spraying. Those can easily be $25 to $40 each time, plus your time, your effort.
It adds up.
But the real savings, it's avoiding potential renovation costs. If winter weeds get really bad, they can seriously thin out your lawn, leave big bare patches.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
Then you're looking at overseeding those patches, maybe extra fertilizer, or in bad cases, having to do a more significant renovation. That could easily cost hundreds of dollars. All damage that a relatively cheap fall application could have largely prevented.
So it's an investment, really. Investing a little now saves potentially a lot later, both time and money. Plus, you get a healthier lawn.
That's the perfect way to look at it. You're investing in health and resilience.
Okay, that makes total sense. So let's get practical. We're convinced it's important. How do we actually do it right? What are the key techniques, the critical things to keep in mind when applying these products?
Right, the how-to. This is where the details really matter for success. First big one. If you're using a granular product, which many homeowners do, you have to water it in. That's non-negotiable. You need about a 1/4 inch to maybe a 1/2 inch of water, either from rain or your sprinkler, pretty soon after applying.
Why is that so important?
Because the water is what moves the active ingredient off the granule and down into that top layer of soil where it needs to form the barrier. If it just sits on top, it's not doing much. Always check the product label, though, for specific watering instructions.
Okay, water it in. Got it. What about overseeding? Lots of people overseed in the fall, too. Is there a conflict?
Yes, absolutely. This is a critical heads up if you're planning to overseed your lawn in the fall.
Which is a good practice for many grass types.
It is, but you generally cannot apply a standard pre-emergent at the same time.
Why not?
because pre-emergents don't know the difference between a weed seed and a grass seed. They'll prevent both from germinating successfully.
Ah, okay. So you'd be stopping your new grass from growing.
Exactly. So if you're overseeding, you have a couple of options. Option 1, overseed first. Let that new grass get established. Usually that means waiting until you've mowed it 2 or 3 times, typically around 6 to 8 weeks. Then you can apply your pre-emergent.
Okay, seed first. Wait, then apply pre-emergent.
Right. Option 2 is you could potentially delay your pre-emergent application until maybe late winter or very early spring. You might miss stopping some of the earliest fall germinators, but it's better than nothing.
Gotcha.
Again, the product label is your best friend here. Some newer products might have different guidelines, but for most standard ones, that conflict exists. And just a general safety note, always wear your PPE gloves, eye protection, when handling these products.
Good reminder. Okay, so watering in, watch out for overseeding conflict. How do we make sure we get that nice, even barrier you talked about? No gaps.
Even coverage is so important. You don't want gaps where weeds can just pop right through. For granulars, use a broadcast spreader. Please don't try and spread it by hand.
Okay, no hand spreading, use a spreader.
Yes, and calibrate it properly based on the bag rate. The best technique is to apply half the recommended amount walking in one direction, say north-south, and then apply the other half walking perpendicularly like east-west.
The checkerboard pattern.
Exactly. That really helps ensure even coverage and prevents those ugly streaks you can sometimes see. For liquids, obviously use a sprayer, pump sprayer, or hose end. Many liquids actually come with a colorant, a dye.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, it helps you see exactly where you've sprayed so you don't miss spots or overlap too much.
What about the weather on application day, besides the watering in part?
Good point.
Hmm.
Ideally, apply it before a light rain is expected, or plan to irrigate lightly afterwards, like we said. What you want to avoid is applying it right before a heavy downpour.
Why is that? Too much water.
Yeah, a real gully washer could potentially wash the product away or move it unevenly in the soil before it has a chance to properly bind. Also, try not to apply it during extreme drought when the ground is baked hard and dry. It might not incorporate well then either.
Okay, makes sense. So we've got the timing, the technique, now choosing the actual product. There seem to be a few different kinds out there. How do we pick the right one? Are they all basically the same?
No, they're definitely not all the same. Choosing the right one depends a bit on your main target weeds and maybe your grass type. But for most homeowners, the most common and often recommended active ingredient is Prodiamine.
Prodiamine, okay.
Yeah, you'll see it in lots of popular brands. It's very effective, it's relatively inexpensive, and it gives really good residual control, meaning it lasts a long time. Often that full 12 weeks you need for winter annuals. And it's safe for most common lawn grasses. It's kind of the go-to for general use.
Okay, Prodiamine is a good starting point. What if someone has a specific problem, like maybe a lot of that annual bluegrass you mentioned?
Good question. Another active ingredient is Pendimethalin. It's also quite effective, maybe particularly good on annual bluegrass. Its residual might be slightly shorter than Prodiamine, maybe 8-10 weeks. You often find it mixed with fertilizer in those weed and feed type products for fall.
Okay. Pendimethalin. Any others we should know about?
Yeah, there's Dithiopyr. Dithiopyr is interesting because it has a unique characteristic. It actually has a little bit of post-emergent activity, but only on very, very young weed seedlings.
Ah, so like a tiny bit of forgiveness if your timing is slightly off?
Exactly. A small window of forgiveness, as some call it. It's also really effective on crabgrass, so it's a good option if you battle both summer and winter annuals.
Interesting. Dithiopyr. One more.
One more key one, especially if your main issue is broadleaf weeds. Think chickweed, henbit, dead nettle.
Okay.
That's isoxaben. It's excellent on broadleaf winter annuals. But the crucial thing to know about isoxaben is that it does not control grassy weeds like annual bluegrass.
Oh, okay. So it's specific.
Very specific. So you might use it, but often in combination with something like Prodiamine if you also have grassy weed pressure. So the key takeaway is try to identify your main weed problems and match the product to those needs and your grass type.
That's a really helpful breakdown. Okay, we've got the strategy, the timing, the products, the application, but where do people usually mess this up? What are the big mistakes you see homeowners make time and again with fall pre-emergence?
Oh yeah. After seeing this play out for years, there are definitely some common pitfalls. Number one, without a doubt, is waiting too long to apply.
We talked about timing being critical.
Absolutely. People get busy, fall comes fast. Next thing you know, it's mid-October, maybe even November, and they're asking, is it too late? And often, yeah, It is.
That's because the weeds already started.
Because those winter annuals have likely already germinated underground, even if you can't see them yet. I remember a buddy of mine, super meticulous lawn usually, called me in late October one year, totally forgot, had to break the bad news. Sorry, man, those weeds probably already had their little underground party.
Okay.
So
procrastination is the enemy here.
big time. Remember, pre-emergents prevent, they don't kill what's already growing. Mistake number 2, using a summer crabgrass product in the fall.
Why is that bad? Aren't they both pre-emergents?
They are, but products formulated primarily for summer crabgrass often have a shorter residual effect. They're designed to break down faster because crabgrass germinates over a shorter window typically. They just won't last long enough to control winter annuals germinating over many weeks or months.
Oh, okay. Need that longer protection. What's number 3?
Inconsistent coverage. We touched on this with application, but it's a major mistake. People try to stretch the product to save money, or they use a drop spreader incorrectly, or they just walk too fast.
Leaving gaps in the shield?
Exactly. Those gaps become highways for weed germination. You need that continuous, even barrier. Don't skimp on the application rate or the technique.
Makes sense. 2 more common mistakes.
Number 4, applying to soaking wet grass or right before a huge rainstorm. We mentioned needing water to activate, but applying onto already saturated turf can sometimes cause granules to plump or wash unevenly. Yeah. And that really heavy rain can just physically move the product off target.
Okay. Moderation in moisture at application time. And the last one.
The last one, maybe the simplest, but also incredibly common. Not reading the label.
The classic.
It sounds basic, right? But every product is slightly different. Different active ingredients, different concentrations, different recommended rates for different grass types, specific instructions about watering, maybe specific warnings about overseeding or certain ornamentals. The label has all the critical info. You just got to read it.
Solid advice. Okay, it's also clear that lawn care isn't the same in Maine as it is in Florida. How do regional differences play into this? And how does this pre-emergent step fit into a bigger fall lawn care plan?
That's a really crucial point. Location matters a lot. In northern regions, where you get deep freezes, the overall pressure from winter annuals might be a bit lower than in the south.
Because the cold kills more stuff?
Yeah, the harsh cold limits some of them. But things like annual bluegrass can still be a real problem. And in the north, because your growing season is shorter, maintaining turf density is critical. So that fall pre-emergent application becomes maybe even more important to prevent any thinning over winter.
Okay. And down south?
Southern regions, with those milder winters, generally face much heavier winter annual weed pressure. The weeds have a longer, more favorable window to grow. So down south, fall pre-emergents are, I'd say, absolutely essential. You might even need to look specifically for products with the longest possible residual control, like Prodiamine.
What about other areas, like coasts or mountains?
Yeah, coastal areas might deal with sandy soils where products can leach through faster, maybe requiring different timing or rates. Mountain regions have all sorts of microclimates, so really monitoring those soil temperatures becomes key there. It's not one size fits all.
Right. And how does this fit with other fall tasks? Fertilizing, aerating?
It needs to be part of an integrated plan. We already covered the overseeding conflict seed first. Then apply pre-emergent.
Got it.
Fall fertilization. That actually pairs really well. Lots of products, as we said, combine a fall fertilizer with the pre-emergent. Kills 2 birds with 1 stone.
Convenient.
Very. Core aeration, which is great for relieving compaction, should generally be done before you apply your pre-emergent.
Why before?
Because punching all those holes in the soil after you've applied the pre-emergent would physically break up that chemical barrier you just created. Same idea for things like adding lime for pH adjustment. Best to do that before the pre-emergent goes down.
Okay, so sequence matters. Aerate, lime, maybe fertilize if it's not combined, then apply the pre-emergent, then water it in. Unless you're seeding, then just the timing.
You got it. That's the general flow for integrating it properly.
Perfect. So for everyone listening right now, feeling maybe a little overwhelmed but wanting to get this right, what's the bottom line? Can you give us that clear action plan for making sure their lawn looks great next spring thanks to what they do now?
Absolutely. Let's boil it down to a simple fall action plan. 5 key steps.
Okay, lay it on us.
1. Monitor your soil temperatures. Start checking in late summerly fall. When they're consistently below 70 degrees Fahrenheit and heading lower, that's your signal. Get ready.
Step 1. Watch the pimp.
2. Choose the right product. Think about your main weed issues, grassy, broadleaf, or both, and your grass type. Prodiamine is a great all-arounder, but consider others if needed. Check local resources or extension offices if you're unsure.
Step 2. Pick your weapon wisely.
3. Apply it correctly. Use a calibrated spreader, aim for that even, overlapping coverage north, south, east, west. And crucially, water it in according to the label, usually 1/4 to 1/2 inch.
Step 3. Apply like a pro.
4. Integrate it. Think about your other fall tasks. Aerate before, seed well before, or delay the pre-emergent. Fertilize potentially with it. Make it part of the overall plan.
Step 4. Make it fit the schedule.
And 5. Be consistent. This isn't really a one-and-done fix. Making fall pre-emergent application a regular part of your annual lawn care routine is what builds that long-term resilience and keeps weed pressure low year after year.
Step 5. Stick with it. That's a fantastic, actionable plan. It really drives home the power of being proactive, doesn't it?
It really does.
Think about it like this. You're essentially putting your lawn to bed for the winter, tucking it in with this nice, cozy, protective blanket. A blanket that keeps out those unwanted intruders, the winter weeds.
That's a perfect analogy.
And the payoff for that little bit of foresight now, it's huge. Less work, less cost, a healthier lawn next spring. It really highlights how prevention often saves so much more effort and expense down the line, not just with lawns, but, in lots of areas of life. The absolute best time to stop next spring's weed problems is starting right now.
Thank you for listening to the Pain in the Grass podcast, sponsored by Lawn Pride of North Charlotte, Huntersville, your go-to name in turf care for homeowners and businesses seeking beauty, quality, and reliability, powered by family and fueled by passion. Until next time, make sure to take care of that pain in the grass.